Over the years, Dan Borné has used his voice to speak for citizens, politicians, industry, the Catholic Church, and the LSU Tigers. But it would be one unrehearsed line on a fateful Saturday night that would cement his legendary status in Louisiana folklore. It all began in Thibodaux, Louisiana, where he was born in 1946. He grew up across the street from what would become Nicholls State University, where Dan would attend college, do play-by-play for basketball games, serve as student body president, and graduate first in his class, all while working the soundboard at the local radio station. It was at Nicholls that he met his future wife, Lisette, began a vocation in the Catholic Church with the Newman Club, and along with Lisette was inducted into the college's Hall of Fame. He also began a career in politics, working for his Uncle Tom, a police juror, and spending a summer in Washington, D.C. as an intern for Congressman Edwin Willis. Later, he would serve as secretary to State Senator Harvey Peltier in the Louisiana Senate. After graduation, Dan and Lisette moved to Washington, D.C., where he joined the staff of Senator Allen J. Ellender, the Senate President pro tem. When Senator Ellender died, Dan remained on staff to assist interim Senator Elaine Edwards, the wife of then-Governor Edwin Edwards, and then joined the staff of Senator Russell Long. In 1975, they returned to Louisiana, where Dan served as executive secretary to Governor Edwin Edwards. 3 years later, he joined Kaiser Aluminum to run the industrial giant's public relations and governmental affairs division before being named president of the Louisiana Chemical Association in 1988. For nearly 30 years, until his retirement in 2016, he would serve as the voice of over 60 chemical companies in Louisiana. But it would be his almost 40 years spent as the public address announcer for the LSU Fighting Tigers that would make his voice unmistakable to millions in Louisiana and across the college football universe. No one can imagine a Saturday night in Tiger Stadium without hearing Dan's legendary lead-in, "Chance of Rain, Never." His career in sports, politics, industry, and public affairs is well decorated. He has served on gubernatorial commissions, headed boards of major corporations, chaired the governor's prayer breakfast, and visited with Pope Francis after Mass in the papal residence. In 2020, Dan introduced Governor John Bell Edwards at his second inauguration. He delivered a eulogy at the private funeral service for Governor Edwin Edwards and opened the U.S. House of Representatives in prayer. In his retirement, Dan continues speaking for others, this time for the only power higher than the Louisiana governor and the LSU Fighting Tigers, the Catholic Church. Ordained a deacon in 2010, he became the media spokesperson for the diocese and began teaching Catholic social justice and theology courses to aspiring deacons in the Diocese of Baton Rouge, Houma Thibodaux, and the Archdiocese of New Orleans. While preaching may be a vocation he began later in life, people across Louisiana have been captivated by Dan Borné's voice for decades. Ladies and gentlemen, Deacon Dan Borné.